Lecture on regular expressions. Today we will see what exactly we mean by regular expressions, how regular expressions work in Perl, and what are the various characters, special characters, and classes that are available in regular expressions. So regular expression is basically used in Perl to extract data from the data source. By this, what I mean is, let's say we have a particular file in consideration. This is a log file from a particular application. So it would have different types of statements available in that file. Now let's say we want to see whether there is any error that has taken place, and if at all there is any error, then let's report it, either report it or print it, for example. So how do we do that? We basically go ahead and search for a particular keyword. For example, error. It can be either in caps or either in normal or non-capitalized letters. So now, in order to do that, we'll use regular expressions to see if there is a match that is equal to error, and if in that case, then extract those particular lines and publish it. So this is where regular expressions are really handy. They are very strong. You'll the as and when we'll go through the entire lecture, you'll clearly understand how important regular expressions are in Perl. So let us get started by doing some live code. We'll simply go ahead and we'll understand the various operators that are available in regular expressions. So the first operator that is available in regular expression is the match operator, that is equal to and tilde sign. So this basically says that we need to, in case we need to match a particular condition in a string or in our data source, we need to use this particular operator that is called as the match operator. This is nothing but an equal to sign followed by a tilde sign. So for example, in this particular string, that is $str, let us try to find reg. Okay, so how do we do that? So I would say $str is equal to tilde, and this is nothing but your two forward slashes. Inside this, you just need to specify your pattern. So in this case, my pattern is reg. So this will go ahead and match the pattern reg. Now, in case it gets this particular pattern, I would simply say if, or probably let's do one thing, we'll go ahead and print the value of $result. So in case it finds this particular pattern, we'll see what exactly we get on printing $result. So I would say result is equal to $result. Now let's go ahead and execute this particular program. Yeah. So in order to execute this particular program, I'm simply navigating to my particular drive, and inside this we'll quickly go ahead and execute this. So oops, I'm sorry, this should work fine. So you can see result is equal to 1. This is because the reg pattern that we tried to search has matched into our string. Now instead of reg, I'll simply get this as zeg and see. So you can see there is no result. That means it has not matched the particular condition. So I hope this particular match operator is pretty much clear. Now let's say what we want to do is we want to invert this condition, and we would say it should not match a particular pattern. So I'll go ahead and I'll use this two statements, but I'll change the match operator to not match operator. So now in this particular case, what we tried in the previous example was we had given a wrong pattern and we had seen what the output would look like. So now I'm saying in this string it should not have something like zeg. So we'll go ahead and execute this, and now you can see it has printed 1. So this particular string does not has a pattern called as zeg, and hence the result. Now if we would say it should not have reg as a pattern, you can see the output is not there. So this is how the match and the not match operators work in regular expressions. Now we'll go to some special characters that are available in regular expressions. So what we'll do is we'll quickly go through one of the slide in our PowerPoint presentation. This was the match and not match operators that we have seen just now. Now there are some special characters that are available in regular expressions. So what are these? So the first one is plus or the additional sign. So this says match one or more preceding characters. We'll go in detail, just we'll quickly go through the definition of each of these characters or special characters. So the other one is opening and closing square brackets. These are nothing but character class. These denotes these denote a lot of variations that can be used in regular expressions. In detail, we'll see each of these variations that we can use during the character class. But as of now, you can understand a character class gives you an opportunity to use alternatives during your regular expression or when you build your regular expression. The next is the asterisk sign. It says 0 or more. So basically it tries to match the preceding character which is followed by the asterisk sign. So in this case that is E star, it will try to match E with 0 or more number of E's. So the pattern that it will try to match is either DF or DEF, DEEF and so on and so forth. Question mark, it says either 0 or 1 occurrence of the character that it is associated with it. Next is the period character, that is the dot character. It matches any character apart from the new line character. But if this particular dot character is specified in a character class, then it matches the new line character as well. We look into all these later when we go in depth of these regular expressions. The other one is the dollar sign. Now we have seen in Perl how we have used dollar sign, but let's say in a regular expression when we say dollar sign, it indicates that this particular string should be at the end of our line or end of our string. Similarly, the caret sign, it says that it should be at the start of our string. Now let's quickly go ahead and code these special characters in our live code. So let's say first pattern is, let's say, the addition sign or the one or many one or many match. So now my string, that is $str, I would simply have another string. Let's say my $str of 1 is equal to, we'll have some kind of a string, def ghi and probably abc. Okay, so now in this particular case I need to match, for example, E. So what I'll do is I'll quickly give a particular string something like this. So in this particular case I want to match a particular pattern called as DEF. So I would simply say DE and plus F. So what it does is it goes ahead and it matches one or more E, one or more, so D followed by one or more E followed by F. So even if my particular string is something like this, DEEF, it should go ahead and match it. So I'll use the match operator that we have learned before, that is equal to tilde sign, and what we'll do is we'll go ahead and have a result variable which will help us to get the result of this particular condition, and we print result for plus, and the result would be $result. Now let's go ahead and execute this particular piece of code. So you can see the result is 1 because it was able to match this particular pattern. So even if now let's say we'll try and remove all the E's from this particular string. Now if we execute, it has failed to actually match this particular pattern because the addition sign says there should be one or many instances of E which should be followed by F. So this is how the addition sign works. Now let us see how the star sign works. So I would simply go ahead and change my string here a little bit. So the string in this particular case would be something like this. So in this particular case, there are no E's here. So what we'll do is we'll go ahead and execute this particular piece of code. Now you can see, oops, I have not changed the operator though. now you can see when we executed this, it has passed because because this particular star says that it should have 0 or more occurrences of E. So why 0 or more occurrences? Because whenever you use the star sign, it always says that there should be either 0 E or more number of E's followed by an F variable F character. Hence, this particular string here didn't had any of the E's and it was able to successfully pass this particular match condition that we had given here. Let's move on to our next condition. So this particular condition says question mark. In question mark, as we have seen, it's either 1 or 0 or 1. So either 0 or 1. So now let's try to re-execute this particular piece of code. So in this particular case, it's either 0 or 1. So now I'll quickly change the operator special character, that is star, and we'll go ahead and execute this particular statement. So when we execute it, you can see result for question mark again comes down to 1. But now let's add couple of E's here and see what exactly the output would look like. So in this particular case, you can see there is no output. That is, the regular expression, the matching of this particular pattern in this particular string was not successful. The reason is question mark matches only 0 or 1 character. Basically, 0 or 1 E would be matched, which will be followed by F. So that's the reason this particular condition has failed. Okay, let's move on to the next character. So the next character would be hash, and I would say match at the end, or let's match at the start, that is caret sign. So your caret sign is nothing but this particular sign. So now let's say I want to match a particular string which should be only at the start of that particular string. So in this particular case, DEF, or match a pattern which is right at the start of the string. So in this case, my string is DEF GHI ABC. Now I want to see whether DEF matches or DEF is at the start of that particular string, that is $str1. So I'll simply copy all these three statements, and what we'll do is we'll change our sign here. So I'm simply saying start with DEF and similarly print the result. So let's see what happens. So it says yes, it has actually got DEF right at the start of the string. Now I'll simply change my string. Let's say I'm adding something like G here, a simple character G, and if I'll execute it, I'll see there is no output that I've received here. The reason is it tries to match this particular pattern, that is DEF, right at the start. If it finds that it does not start with DEF, then it gives a negative output, or it does not match that particular string. Similarly, we have an operator to match a particular pattern right at the end of the string. This is nothing but the dollar sign. As we are familiar in Perl, we have used dollar sign in a lot of things when we have worked with scalar variables. So now let's say I want to match a particular pattern which is right at the end. So I'll quickly say dollar and the pattern that I want to match. So in this case, let's say I want to match ABC. Now we'll see what exactly happens here. So if we go ahead and execute this, you can see it was successfully able to match this particular pattern, that is ABC, because in this particular string ABC was nothing but right at the end of this particular string, and hence ABC was able to match because we had used a dollar sign. Now instead of ABC, I would say, or I would add a particular character here, that is L, for example. Now if we go ahead and execute it, we are not able to match this particular pattern because it says ABC should end, or this particular string should end with ABC. So that's how the end pattern works in regular expressions. Now there is something called as dot. This dot is a pretty tricky character, so make sure you know why you are using this particular character as and when you're using in your regular expression. This says it's a greedy operator. So what do you mean by greedy? It tries to match anything and everything that is there inside the string, apart from a new line character. So if we consider this particular example itself, and we'll write this particular example. Now let's say instead of this, I would simply say dot here. Okay. And what I'll do is I'll go ahead and print it. So for this moment, I would simply use or simply execute this code. So it says I'm able to match anything and everything in this particular case. Now let's say I would change my string a little bit. I would change it to banana. Okay. Now what I'll do is I'll say B, okay, and dot. So now what happens here is it goes ahead and it matches the entire string. Why is that? Because this dot is trying to match anything and everything after B. So it is able to match this particular string. So dot is a basically a greedy operator. It will match anything and everything. Usually you use dot with a dot star and a question mark. That is basically you try to get almost everything that is available, but also you can specify a condition using the question mark. We've done the question mark. Question mark says either 0 or 1. So these are some of the special characters that are available in Perl. We'll see more of the details that we can use in regular expressions in our next lecture. Also, we will see how character classes actually work in regular expression. Thank you, and I'll see you at the next lecture.